What is it like when your girlfriend is only the size of a palm? She can take a milk bath in a bowl. A single sock can serve as her bed. The only problem is that making clothes is a bit troublesome. It needs to be custom-made. Eating is even simpler. A piece of stinky tofu can last her for 3 to 5 years. With such an easy-to-care-for girlfriend, it's hard to understand why the man is always frowning. The girl's name is Lisa. Not long ago, she woke up in a cave and realized she felt a chill. Looking down, she was shocked her body had shrunk drastically. She immediately covered herself up, but when she looked around, she realized she had become tiny, like the legendary 1-inch gold in purple, no less. Her neighbor, Mike, heard that Lisa was missing and quickly went out to look for her. He saw the red clothes in the cave and immediately realized that it was the same one Lisa had worn yesterday. Panicking, Mike called out for her. Just then, Mike's dog, Mira, followed the sound. When Mike looked down, he saw a tiny, hopping case. My God, Mike thought, the case has shrunk so small. Is this some kind of illusion? As Lisa was about to faint, Mike quickly reached down and caught her, putting her in his pocket to take her back home. He laid Lisa on the bed, warning her not to run around. But, as nature calls, Lisa started fidgeting. Mike understood immediately and opened the window, indicating that the flower pot on the windowsill needed fertilizer. After solving her immediate problem, Lisa felt much better. Mike then suggested taking her back home. But Lisa was afraid that her parents would be heartbroken if they saw her like this. She decided to return to her original size before going back. She called her father and told him she was in Tokyo practicing dance. Her father became furious, and the loud voice sent him spinning. He quickly tried to hang up the phone, but his arms were too short to reach the button. So, he had to stand on tiptoe, sliding his foot to hang up the phone successfully, but also landing in a squat. That evening, Mike was about to take a bath but forgot Lisa's presence. Lisa, on the other hand, was thrilled to have a good view of him. Mike pulled out a pair of socks that hadn't been washed in 3 years, folded them a few times, and magically turned them into a cozy, fragrant simple bed. Whenever he wanted to go out, this free vehicle came in handy, and everyone who used it loved it. Since becoming small, the food appeared much bigger to Lisa, and she was thrilled. However, Mike was worried. It had already been 3 days, and Lisa showed no signs of returning to normal. On a stormy day, Mike suddenly remembered that it had been the same kind of weather when Lisa had shrunk. Perhaps if she went through another storm, she could return to her original size. Mike immediately took Lisa back to the cave. However, just as he was about to leave, Lisa said she was scared. So, Mike had no choice but to stay outside the cave all night. The next morning, when Mike woke up, not only had Lisa not returned to normal, but he himself seemed to have caught a cold. He collapsed as soon as he arrived home. Lisa crawled out and touched his forehead. Mike, still weak, managed to walk back to the room. At that moment, Lisa remembered that she needed to lower her fever. However, she was too small and lacked the strength to open the refrigerator door. Struggling, she walked back to the room. Mike reached out and helped her onto the bed. "Auntie, did you touch it? Who was that you were saying goodbye to?" "I wasn't sleeping." Mike gently wiped away her tears. He looked at Mike, who was sound asleep beside him, and absent-mindedly recalled the childhood memories. Mike had once made her a flower crown with his own hands and promised to always be together. After a night of rest, Mike finally recovered. But when he turned around, he realized that Lisa was gone. She had actually fallen asleep on the phone. Mike reached out and moved Lisa's hair, then went to school on his own. When he returned home that evening, Lisa ran out from behind the pen holder. She didn't know where she had found a piece of floral fabric, but she loved it. She asked Mike to help her make a skirt. Lisa, who was only 9.9 centimeters tall, lay on the fabric. Mike carefully traced the outline, then simply cut along the lines. He cut out 2 identical fabric strips and sewed them together. Lisa eagerly tried it on but found that the neck hole was too small for her to get into. Suddenly, she thought of something. There were doll clothes in her room. The next morning, she grabbed a large sack and prepared to go find some clothes. She ran quickly to the windowsill and forcefully opened the window. She jumped through the gap. At that moment, Lisa saw someone passing by and quickly hid behind the flower pot. Luckily, she wasn't seen. She quickly slipped back into the house, but the steps in front of her became her biggest obstacle. It took her a long time to climb back to her room. She immediately ran to the storage box, opened the lid, and inside were her dolls. She took out many beautiful dresses, one by one, and filled up a sack. However, just as she was about to return, the doorbell rang. Lisa hid behind the table. She saw a woman sneakily open the window and slip inside. Seeing her suspicious behavior, Lisa immediately realized she was a thief. While the thief was rummaging through the room, Lisa secretly climbed upstairs and reached the table. She grabbed her phone and started typing a message to Mike. Just as she was halfway through, the thief arrived on the second floor. Lisa didn't have time to worry about that and quickly finished the message and sent it. Then, she turned and pretended to be a figurine thief, feeling a little weird. She decided to get closer to observe. Suddenly, the thief's phone rang. The thief quickly ran downstairs to answer the call. Lisa realized that the thief had accomplices, so she quickly went to the speaker and pressed the button. The loud music startled her, and at the same time, it scared the two thieves into fleeing in a panic. When Mike received the message, he rushed back home and immediately went to the room to search for Lisa. When he saw she was safe, Mike breathed a sigh of relief. He picked Lisa up and said, "I'm so glad you're okay." Lisa excitedly told him how amazing her plan had been today. She happily tried on the clothes, putting on a ballet skirt. In the clear moonlight, Lisa danced gracefully. But what she didn't know was that Mike was staring at her, quietly watching. A seed of love was slowly taking root.